again. It's time for another book review. This time round, we're doing FireBringer by Clement Davies. Now, this was another purchase from a library book sale. That's going to be a running theme with most of my book reviews. But this one caught my eye, partly because it's nice and big and solid, and because the premise on the back kind of just caught my interest initially. And I think this was back when I actually was not too familiar with Firebird Fantasy, the imprint. So I thought I'd give it a shot. And I was very surprised at the story. It's one of the few books where it's all about the animals, and the protagonist and antagonist are deer, or bucks, actually. But it's rare that I actually see a good story done where all of the characters, well, 99%, are animals. So, to give you an idea of this particular book, the back cover is: "In a dark and troubled time, a prophecy is about to come true. It is a dark time for the deer. A tyrannical new lord of the herd has ended the old way, the yearly play of antlers that ensured a change of leadership. At his command is a corps of young stags, antlers sharpened for the kill, whose mission is complete domination over the animal world. But a prophecy among the deer promises a hero, a fawn with the mark of an oak leaf on his forehead. His unique bond with all creatures, including humans, will bring a new age of freedom. That fawn is Rannoch. Born on the night his father is murdered, he is hidden by his mother from the deadly attention of the lord of the herd. But soon he is forced to flee, beginning a perilous, wondrous journey among the mountains and haunted glens of the great land. The young stag encounters strange herds, makes unusual allies, and, at last, finds the knowledge and courage to face his extraordinary destiny." So yeah, it really focuses entirely on, or primarily on, the one fawn, Rannoch, who is the one. He is the chosen one to save them all. It's interesting to see the interplay between different herds of deer and some of the other animals that they interact with. I'm mostly a wolf guy, so I'm more familiar with the mannerisms and quirks of the stories about wolves and humans and wolves and other animals. So reading a story about deer was kind of an interesting change of pace for me. And to give you a style of like how the book reads, the inside blurb, since it has one, is: "Eloin, may I see your little one?" asked Blindweed, stepping forward. "Certainly. May the teller of tales be the first stag to welcome him to the herd." "Come then, Rannoch," said Blindweed softly, nudging the young fawn with his muzzle. Blindweed's gentle buffet swung the calf round, and he stood there blinking up at the old storyteller, his front feet splayed slightly out in front of him and his tail twitching furiously. Blindweed stretched forward to give him a lick on his nose, but as he did so, he suddenly stopped and pulled back. "In the name of Herne," he gasped, drawing in his breath sharply. "What is it?" said Breac. "On his brow a leaf of oaken," he mumbled. "Blindweed, what on earth's the matter?" "Look," replied Blindweed, as he gazed at the patch of white fur on Rannoch's forehead. "Why, it's only a fawn mark," said Breac. "I thought something was wrong." "Yes, but look at the shape," Blindweed whispered. In the center of Rannoch's forehead, formed by a slightly raised tuft of white fur, like a splash of snow, the little stag's fawn mark was in the shape of a perfect oak leaf. So that's kind of the style of writing for the overall book, and it's interesting to see that the one, or the character of interest and power, always seems to have some sort of identifying mark, and most of the time it always seems to be on their forehead, somewhere very prominent and kind of hard to hide. You'd think that prophetic ones would be a little more strategic in hiding their identifying marks, kind of put it somewhere a little trickier to see, so that when you're being chased down by the main enemy, it's a little trickier to identify you. But be that as it may, it's definitely a very good standalone story. It really keeps you wondering to the end as to just what the Lord of the Herd's secrets are and why he is afraid of certain things and why he's so against humans. And it took me a while to realize just where the time and place of all this was, but it's done in our comparative past. So kind of back in the UK and Ireland and Scotland, back when invasions were occurring and stuff like that for the humans. So there's a bit of an overlay with that for the animals as well. It was a very interesting plot, really, altogether. And unfortunately, the primary website for the author I cannot load. It kept on freezing on me, but that would just be davidclementdavies.com. So I did some searching around and found the Goodreads page for the book. So 4.14 out of 5. That's pretty darn good, all things considered. And I mean, they have it available over on Amazon for various prices, depending on if you want the hardcover, paperback, Kindle version, what have you. You got your choices, and I mean, they have it at Barnes and Nobles as well, and presumably Books A Million, and probably at your local bookstores as well, although you may have to ask them to special order it, because this is actually a decent sized book, so depending on the size of your local bookstore, they may not necessarily have a copy right on hand. It's also published in 2007, I want to say. Yeah, since Firebird is an imprint of Penguin, I'm just looking at their website now, yeah, it was August 2007. So it's not exactly brand new either, but it's still out there enough that you should be able to track it down without too much trouble. But yeah, it's definitely worth checking out. I definitely recommend it. And he's written other books as well. If we check out his list, he's written The Sight, which I have a copy of, but I have not gotten a chance to read it quite yet. But I have a feeling that one is more to do with wolves, just from the cover. Let's take a quick peek here. Yes, The Sight. Yeah, a wolf pack. So it's another one focused with animals, so from their perspective. So that's going to be an interesting read later on. I kind of look forward to that one now. It is currently, looking over at my pile to be read, it is the second one from the top, but I may nudge that one up actually just to see what that one's all about. So if you've read FireBringer by David Clement Davies, by all means post a comment and let me know what you thought of it. Did you enjoy it? Did you have any issues with it? How did you think the story progressed? The character depth and growth, the whole storyline of the Lord of the Herd and his quest for global domination. It's weird to think of a deer trying to take over the world. I wouldn't really think of a deer as trying to be so evil and dominating. But there you go. It was a nice little quirk and a twist, so definitely go check it out.